Gervonta the Tank Davis.
Everything to the body. Everything to the body. Chopping downstairs. Chopping. Brick hand. Now this, even his shots upstairs here, that's still a body shot on Jake Paul. Everything's a body shot he's throwing. Even when he's changing the levels of the shot. That's a body shot. That's a body shot. That's a body shot.
Gervonta Tank Davis, it's my prediction that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to weigh in on the night of the fight against Jake Paul, knocking on 160 pounds. Don't be surprised if he's 157 pounds.
Gervonta Davis just shocked everyone with his bulked up, powerful physique at the new press conference for the Jake Paul fight. His intense training sessions show a new level of focus and strength. Analysts point out that Tank's strategy targets Jake's body, planning to wear him down with relentless punches that drain energy and frustrate opponents, proving size won't stop his sharp, explosive attack.
So this isn't necessarily a ton of technique work. It may not even have anything to do with what they're trying to bring to the Jake fight. But when I watch it, I see a guy that's targeting the body. And it's the best thing that Tank could do for this fight. I mean, trying to go headshot for headshot with Jake Paul when Jake's 7 inches taller than he is. I'm assuming he's going to have a bit of a reach, even though Tank has a kind of freakish reach for his height. I don't think that's a great idea. And again, you're at eye level with Jake's belly button damn near. So you're going to have to be able to land shots right there on the waistline. And it's probably the best idea if you actually want to knock Jake out in this fight, if you actually want a game plan, because again, it's an exhibition, but if you want a game plan to get him out of there, you have to attack the body. Not that it's necessarily going to hurt Jake to the body and he's going to cripple, but it's going to slow him down, or at least that's the idea, is to slow him down, to drop his hands, and that way that we're in the, 6th, 7th, 8th round of this fight, and those hands start to fall a little bit, and Jake's gas tank is being tested, and then Tank, when he closes distance, and he will have to close distance damn near the entirety of the fight unless Jake's just like walking forward the whole time. I don't think that'll happen.
Former world champion Shawn Porter has never been shy about giving credit where it's due. And when it comes to Gervonta Davis, his words carry weight. Porter described Tank as a dog inside the ring, a fighter with rare determination and hunger. He admired how Davis refuses to back down, no matter who stands in front of him. That mental toughness, combined with raw talent, makes Tank one of the most dangerous fighters of this generation. Porter highlighted that Tank's blend of discipline, aggression, and intelligence sets him apart from many boxers who rely only on power. To him, Davis represents the spirit of a real fighter, one who thrives when challenged and fights with both passion and purpose.
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of what he just said, you can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it, you know, so.
Boxing commentator Showbiz recently addressed one of the most common misconceptions about Gervonta Davis, his size. Many fans believe Tank is a small man who fights in lower divisions, but Showbiz revealed that Davis has been walking around at 160 pounds. He clarified that Tank is not the lightweight figure people imagine. In reality, he's compact and muscular with a frame built for power. This explains how he's able to generate such explosive force despite standing shorter than most opponents. Showbiz also pointed out that Davis's natural strength gives him a physical advantage, even when fighting men who seem bigger on paper. His conditioning, balance, and ability to control distance allow him to deliver knockout blows with frightening precision. That's why calling him small is misleading. Tank may fight in lower divisions, but he carries the body and power of a much larger athlete.
That he can yield that type of weight. He's a bowling ball. He ain't a little guy like you guys say. The Takey Wanky say he's a little guy. But I got more receipts. Do you guys remember 2 years ago against Mario Barrios to make 140? He was coming down in weight.
144.1.
Weighing in at 144 plus. Huh? I even got more receipts for you guys. Remember against Ryan Garcia, right? You saw him stacking on snacky cakes and all kind of Skittles and shit, you know, for the All Access with him versus Ryan Garcia. I think this was like episode 2 or something. It was hilarious. But he goes in the store and they have to weigh him. And in that store, He weighs 150 pounds.
Good, thank you.
How much I weigh?
154.
154?
Yes, sir.
All right, weigh me one more time.
All right, 150.
150? What this on? All right, bet.
And then the most famous audio leak that the War Room made famous that we sent out and it went viral when Team Tank said that Gervonta Tank Davis walks around at 160 pounds.
He ain't gonna never want to fight at 135 again. He grew up and understand. That's such a big jump for him, man. This is walk around weight. No, walk around? Like just, you know what I mean? 160? 160? Well, he get up big, but like, this is walk around weight.
Behind the scenes, Gervonta Davis has been grinding harder than ever. His recent training footage shows a fighter completely locked in, throwing crisp combinations, perfecting his footwork, and focusing intensely on every move. Trainers have described his sessions as brutal but purposeful. Davis doesn't just train for endurance, he trains for destruction. Every punch he throws in camp is aimed at simulating fight night pressure. His sparring sessions have been particularly tough, involving heavier and stronger partners to prepare him for the kind of power he might face against Jake Paul. Observers noted that Tank looks sharper, faster, and mentally calmer than ever before. This new version of him seems built not just to win, but to dominate. It's the kind of preparation that separates a boxer from a superstar, and Tank looks ready to prove that again. While many fans are excited about the upcoming Jake Paul fight, Claressa Shields and several boxing voices have raised serious questions about Davis's next steps. Shields criticized Tank's talk about a possible retirement after the Paul fight. She argued that if he truly considers himself one of the best, he should not walk away before facing names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, both of whom have been openly calling him out. Critics believe that by ignoring these challenges, Tank risks giving the impression that he's avoiding true competition. They want him to silence the doubters by proving that he's willing to fight the best in his division, not just high-profile crossover opponents. However, others believe Shields' comments overlook the mental and emotional weight Tank has carried recently, something that plays a huge role in his future decisions.
I don't care what nobody say. Gervonta got skills out this world. He's a scary dude. He's scary. Ain't no way he said he supposed to come back and get Shakur, Devin, Ryan, Teofimo, whoop all these. He like, now he like, I'm about to retire after I fight Jake. No, I don't let nobody talk about me like that. The way that Shakur disrespect him, the way that Devin talked to him, the way that Ryan, he already knocked out Ryan. The way that these dudes be talking, he supposed to come back and get them. He the man, right? He who everybody say is the best. I ain't leaving no food on the table. When I'm done boxing, I'm whooping all these girls. They all getting beat. Oh, you said you can beat me? Oh, okay, I'm gonna figure out a way to get you. You just wait.
Leonard Ellerby, longtime advisor to Gervonta Davis, shared personal insight into the boxer's state of mind. According to Ellerby, Tank was not mentally ready to face Lamont Roach at one point because of the intense personal issues he was dealing with. He explained that Davis had gone through difficult emotional phases that left him drained, making it unwise to take another fight during that period. Instead of forcing himself into the ring, Tank chose to prioritize recovery and focus on regaining balance. Ellerby emphasized that people often see Davis as an unstoppable machine, but forget that he's human, someone who has faced family problems, criticism, and the pressure of fame. This honesty from Ellerby helped fans understand that Tank's choices aren't about fear or avoidance. They're about protecting his mental stability while still pursuing greatness.
Leonard Ellerby said, to tell you the truth, Gervonta Davis couldn't get up for Lamont Roach. And what does that mean? It means that he could not get inspired, that he was not motivated to fight Lamont Roach, that his mind was not in a place where it was like, yeah, okay, let's get it. And he was going to war with Lamont Roach. He was going through the motions with Lamont Roach during the training camp and could never really get himself motivated to really give the best of himself against Lamont Roach. And that probably affected him during training and during the fight. And that is something that can happen, especially if you really look back on what happened with the Lamont Roach fight and all of the ups and downs about that fight being made. Because first, if you recall, he wasn't supposed to be fighting Lamont Roach. The person he was supposed to be fighting was Vasily Lomachenko. You know, the guy that everybody says that he doesn't want to fight, that he didn't want to fight. Gervonta Davis was up and prepared to fight Vasily Lomachenko. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that if he tries to make a fight with Vasily Lomachenko, that fight doesn't go through. Then he tries to make a fight with Lamont Roach. He can't get the fight done for Houston with Lamont Roach because there was all kind of venue problems and drama going on around Gervonta getting a venue in Houston. So they wind up eventually moving the fight to New York City and pushing it back even further. So not only is it a fight where he didn't just jump out of from his last fight that he had and jump into a fight with Lamont Roach, he got held up. And then also during that period of time, he had to spend some time in jail for a parole violation after the, well, I believe that might have been after the Lamont Roach fight.
In one of his most revealing interviews, Gervonta Davis admitted that his original dream wasn't about championship belts or global fame. What drove him to boxing was the need to escape his circumstances. He grew up surrounded by hardship, and his focus was to earn enough to build a better life for himself and those he loved. Over time, success changed his path, but the mindset never left. Tank confessed that even after reaching financial comfort, he still feels driven by the desire to stay ahead of the life he once struggled through. That's what makes him dangerous. His motivation comes from survival, not luxury. Davis's story reminds fans that beneath the flash and fame is a man who fought for his identity, not just titles. Every punch he throws is a statement that he refuses to go back to the world he came from.
And while he's fighting YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who is 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, opposed to fighting against the likes of his peers who are well accomplished and superstars in their own right for legacy fights like Shakur Stevenson, like Teofimo Lopez, like Devin Haney. Why he's not interested in those fights. And he gets real, right? He gets real, and only thing we could do is salute it, right? Because he's saying, I never told y'all I wanted to be a world champion. I never told y'all I wanted to be undisputed. I got into this for myself and my circumstances to escape from my circumstances. And that's real. We can't blame him for that. We hold him in high regard because the statements he's made and misled people when he said he got a hit list that he wants to check off before he retires, and that hit list includes Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, who turned down the fight because of a severe back injury. And then he told the world, he told Champside, it would be great for him to become undisputed. So I think that he had a change of heart at some point in time along the way, right?
Former UFC champion Daniel Cormier expressed deep skepticism about the entire Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis setup. Watching the promotional buildup, he admitted the fight feels more like a media stunt than a genuine sporting contest. Cormier pointed out the huge size gap, explaining that even though Davis is incredibly skilled, the difference in natural weight could create an uneven playing field. He worried that these kinds of mismatches might make the sport lose credibility, turning boxing into more spectacle than competition. Cormier's tone wasn't dismissive toward either fighter. Rather, it was concern for the sport's integrity. In his view, boxing needs to protect its structure, where fights are organized based on skill, weight, and merit, not just attention-grabbing headlines.
Jake Paul. Yesterday, they had their first press conference. One of the most recognizable things is Jake Paul is huge compared to Gervonta Davis. And two, Gervonta Davis don't even know what weight they fighting, D.
Maximum weight of 195 pounds for this exhibition. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know.
DC, I watched this, And we have our priorities way misplaced when we're talking about boxing. Like everybody's complaining about this Ali act and all. Like, how is something like this allowed to happen? How is Jake Paul allowed to fight Gervonta Davis? It's
I don't know.
completely unfair. It is completely just. It's. I can't say the word that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled. But this fight should not be happening. And the press conference was embarrassing. Gervonta Davis should not have a mic in front of him. It was absolutely embarrassing watching this thing.
D, why? Why, D?
Just the fact that like every time when Jake Paul would say something to Gervonta Davis, he didn't know how to answer it. He was comparing himself to like P. Diddy at moments, and I was like, oh my God, get a mic away from this guy. This fight shouldn't be happening. And then he didn't even know what weight they were fighting. He's like, I thought it was
bad,
190, it was 195.
That was the craziest thing. That was the thing that stood out to me the most. Was that when they go, the rehydration limit or something is 195. And he goes, wait, I thought it was 190.
Adol Adipo explained that exhibition matches have a place in boxing, but only when fighters are past their physical prime. He mentioned that events like Mayweather versus Logan Paul worked because both men were no longer chasing championships. But in this case, both Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are active and in their prime, which makes the concept questionable. Cormier's argument centered on how these primetime crossover fights can blur the lines between sport and show business. If such matchups continue, fans might start valuing drama over skill, which could damage the future of professional boxing. His concern reflects a broader debate among analysts who believe the sport needs to preserve its identity before it becomes more about viral entertainment than athletic competition. When asked about the upcoming Davis versus Paul showdown,
whether you agree with it or not, Gervonta is considered the #1 lightweight in the world. And it's a division that includes Shakur Stevenson, a lot of young guns coming up. I'm not any more sure if it's going to include Keyshawn Davis, but it's a hot division. He's considered #1 in that division. Like, that's why I kind of find this a bit, I don't know. Like, there are challenges out there for Gervonta. There are big money fights out there for Gervonta. We want to see Gervonta in those fights. Again, I don't know how many fights people want to see AJ in, just to make the AJ Jake Paul comparison. One, as far as I'm concerned, that was Tyson Fury. I don't really have any interest in seeing an AJ in any other more fights. Whereas Gervonta Davis, I wanted and still do want to see him in so many more fights. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. These exhibition things are, like, really and truly, they should all be when your career's done. Like, when you think of Floyd versus Logan Paul, it's done, right? Floyd versus Conor. Did he have one more after? Was that it? I can't even remember. But it was right at the end. It was done. Right at the end. Even if it wasn't. Right at the end. These guys having these exhibition fights in between what is the peak of their career is kind of weird for me. Very, very weird. And then it isn't even comparable to Ngannou Fury, because at least these guys were the same size. Like, Jake Paul is a 215, 220 pound guy. I don't know what he walks around at. Gervonta fights at 135.
UFC President Dana White offered his own blunt take. He said most fans aren't genuinely excited about the fight from a competitive standpoint. They just want to see chaos. Yet, White acknowledged something interesting. The fight could benefit Gervonta Davis more than anyone expects. Even if the matchup feels mismatched, it offers Tank the chance to break into a larger audience beyond boxing purists. White noted that Jake Paul's reach across social media and mainstream culture guarantees exposure that traditional bouts often fail to deliver. For Davis, that could mean financial growth, brand recognition, and a stronger global fan base. Dana's conclusion was simple. Even if the fight seems odd, it might still push Tank to the next level of fame.
Jake Paul to beat Gervonta Davis. This is not a fight that I'm excited for at all. I would rather have Gervonta Davis fighting in a real boxing match against the likes of Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Emmanuel Navarrete, anybody that is in the 135-pound division and around. That's where I want to see Gervonta Davis fight. However, we live in a world where everybody is trying to do things as big as possible And the biggest fights possible right now, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, is an exhibition fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. So I do like it for this reason, though. I like it because it is allowing Gervonta Davis to have a fight that is going to be big and that the mainstream media is going to have to cover, the mainstream media outside the world of boxing. Gervonta Davis has been, without a doubt, blocked, having venues blocked, having fighters, having other promoters paying fighters away to go different directions from Gervonta Davis. So Gervonta Davis was in a bit of a hole. And he gets an opportunity to fight Jake Paul for $200 million or whatever. I don't mind it at all. As long as Gervonta Davis comes back to the world of boxing after he gets done with this, hey man, you got your money, no worries. But you gotta love Dana White having the audacity to pick Jake Paul in this fight and says something to the effect that, hey, he was talking to Logan Paul.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.